Hi, I'm Joe Lycett, and welcome back to the Sarah O'Connell Show.
Welcome to the Sarah O'Connell Show.
Jay Lycett, welcome back to the Sarah O'Connell Show. How are you today?
I'm very well, thank you. I am sort of wrapping up for Christmas now. I've not got loads more to do, and I've been doing all the things that I've been meaning to do for most of the year, like your podcast. I've been doing a few different podcasts today, obviously leaving the best till last today.
Oh, what are you doing after this?
Uh, I'm not doing anything. I was being nice about you, Sarah.
That's a huge relief.
Yeah, I'm not doing anything. I'm going to have a curry and a glass of wine.
Fantastic. Now, I need to start this interview, Jay, with a massive congratulations because you are now in joint first place with the most appearances on the Sarah O'Connell Show with 5.
Have I done this 5 times now?
5th, well, 4 interviews, 1 message.
Okay, yeah, fine, great.
Yeah.
Let's call it 5. Who am I joint with?
Catherine Ryan.
I'm so happy about that.
So yeah, that's amazing. So she's held the lead for about a year or so, but you've caught up now. So it's getting quite tense.
That is getting tense, isn't it? Yeah. What I'll try and do is distract her for a year so she can't do it again. And then maybe in 6 months we can do another one.
Sounds like fun.
She done 5 times as a guest, or has she done
Same
4
deal.
and a message?
Same deal.
4 and a message.
4 and a message.
What was the message for? I forgot about the message.
It was transfer visibility, allies. Yeah, and you're on the very first one of those, by the way. Since that, we've had David Arquette, Rosanna Arquette, Ben Stiller.
Wow.
I know.
I do feel like I'm very proud of what you've achieved, but I do see sometimes I go, fucking hell, she's got who on there? Like, it's amazing the people you've had on.
It is a bit. Sat in this very chair, I also interviewed Keanu Reeves.
I know. I mean,
it's ridiculous.
That's exactly it. I was like, sorry, Keanu Reeves has gone on the Sarah O'Connell Show, which is, of course, he should, but I was like, fuck, it's amazing.
Thank you very much.
Was he very lovely?
He was really nice, yeah.
Yeah.
I love that when you sort of have this idea of people, don't you? When you've only seen them on TV or in movies and stuff. And sometimes they live up to your expectations, sometimes they don't. But yeah, he absolutely did. Lovely, lovely person.
Yeah, no, I've just heard like consistently that he's like really nice to crew members and buys them all things and
just like a really humble, super nice guy.
Well, he is Neo. He is the one.
Yes.
It'd be annoying if the one was a dickhead, wouldn't it?
It'd ruin that Robbie Williams song.
Yeah, he would ruin it. Yeah. Have you had Robbie Williams on the pod?
I haven't asked him.
I think you should continue to not ask Robbie Williams.
I will. That's one of the continual themes is that he isn't on it.
Good. I'm pleased to hear that.
I'm just not always in the mood to be entertained.
No, I've got short shrift for being entertained.
Nightmare.
It's a funny thought, isn't it, to be to want to be entertained. Like it's or being entertained, like to distract you ultimately from death. And the fact that Robbie Williams is the one to do it. That's so funny. Can I ask you what's going on in the vases behind you?
Quite a bit, quite a few dead bees probably at this point.
What are they?
I'll tell you what they exactly are. So in my former house that I lived in, I was getting ready to move the house. Not move the house.
Yeah.
I was getting ready to move house. And it occurred to me that if I had these sort of fake artificial vasey things and I took down all the nonsense I had on the wall and I just got really nice pictures of sunsets and flowers and things. And they were just things for the photos to sell the house. And they've kind of just gone along with me and they don't require any maintenance. Although I do have actual plants in the house as well, but
Yeah. So they're sort of plasticky things. Are they plastic?
They've got like wooden leaves on them that are painted silver and red.
Great.
They're only there when I'm filming. There's normally my cup of tea on it.
Oh, I see. Nice.
Yeah.
It looks very smart. I'm currently in my flat in London, so I live in Birmingham, but I've got this flat in London for when I'm working here, which is like part of a friend's house basically, but I've got this little granny flat in the basement.
Yeah.
Same thing is that I love flowers, but I'm not here enough for them to die. So look what I made. Hang on, I made Lego flowers
Oh, I love them.
in a vase.
Oh, really good.
Aren't they fun?
I like that. Same idea.
It's the same thing, but
Yeah.
and then they'll never die. And they add a little splash of colour to the room. I won't show you the room, Sarah, because it's a mess. The other thing, the other flowers that I found these in the Royal Academy. These are cardboard flowers. They're a bit different, aren't they? And you buy them as like a flat pack, and then so like IKEA flowers. Oh, wow.
I love that.
A bit of artificial flower chat. Where's my cola? There it is. I've become obsessed with diet and.
Oh, you're going to say colon.
Where's my colon? Cheers.
See, I'm very much controversially in the Pepsi Max region of things.
Yeah. Maximum taste, zero sugar.
Yeah, it's delicious.
Yeah, you like maximum taste, whereas I'm on Diet Coke, which is refreshing taste. They're going with. It says
you do seem very refreshed.
I am refreshed by it.
Yeah.
Refreshing taste, no calories, no sugar. However, when you look on the side of the can, it says 1 calorie. So I'm not sure how they get away with saying no calories because there's 1 calorie in there. So,
but the chances of you finding it,
yeah,
it's right at the bottom. You have to get that last drip out.
Yeah, I'll never get to it.
Also, incidentally, in the background, I have an incredible book that I highly recommend. That's got something about parsnips and being buttered and things. And then there's just a DVD lying around. I have them everywhere, just things that I like watching.
Oh, that's my face.
It is your face.
Yeah.
So speaking of your face, I was very fortunate to see you very recently. A few weeks ago, I saw more. How do you like it? How do you like it? I will say this to you: my favorite show of the year. I watch a lot of comedy. Absolutely loved it.
Oh, Sarah, that's really lovely of you. Thanks. It's that show is my favorite that I've written this year as well, because I've only written one in 4 years. So yes, it's also my favorite that I've written.
Should have elaborated. It's not just my favorite show of yours this year. It's also just my favorite show that I've seen this year.
Oh wow, really lovely of you to say. I suppose it is. It deals with things that we're bothered about, I suppose. So I get it why you're into it, but that's very well. What a review!
Well, I mean, not just I know what you're referring to, but also just the show just made me laugh so much. The joke rate was really high. I was laughing consistently throughout it, and it was just really brilliant show. And the end did make me tear up a little bit. I won't say what happened, but I left with a very good feeling watching that show.
Did you cry?
Yeah, my face leaked.
Wow, that's yeah. I basically anyone who doesn't cry, I say they're a homophobe. So. Well, I think that's accurate. I think that's fair, isn't it?
Yeah.
Big old gay show, isn't it?
It's a bit. Highly recommend it.
Thank you. That's really kind of you. What was your second favourite show of the year?
Saw quite a few. I watched a lot of, on Next Up Comedy, they live streamed a lot of The Fringe and lots of good stuff. Jordan Gray, Hal Cruttenden, Mark Watson, really good. Saw Catherine
I just worked with Jordan Gray. I loved Jordan Gray. I mean, she was so good and so collaborative, and I'm really impressed with her. She's having like one of those years, isn't she? Like everyone.
Oh yeah, amazing. Her show sold out in Edinburgh, then they increased the room size. That sold out. She went to Soho Theatre, that sold out. And I think she did a show at the Palladium, and then she's gone back to Soho Theatre again. Incredible. So if you can see her, do.
Yeah. She's one. Well, she's one to watch, as in lots of people are watching her.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very much happening right now. That star is rising. Get on the Jordan Gray train.
And incidentally, Jordan Gray's been on my show 3 times, so she is catching up.
Oh wow. Okay. Well,
no pressure.
I need to get my skates on.
You should. Yeah. It actually makes it a lot harder to interview you if you've got skates on, but
I'd be up for it. I think if it was like round on a circuit, I had like a bit like that Francis chap, the train lad. I had the camera like on the phone on Zoom on like a helmet like that.
Yeah. I love him and his energy towards train. I never thought I'd watch a train-based video, but I do. He's great.
Yeah. Francis Bourgeois, is that his name?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool guy.
Amazing. Instantly back to your show for a second. So it is now available to buy, to stream, to rent on your website, and you can even gift it to other people, which I recommend doing too.
Yes, well, as would I, obviously.
Obviously.
Yeah, we're experimenting with just releasing it direct to the people, rather than selling it to Netflix or whoever else, seeing how that goes. And the response has been really brilliant. Lots of people have been so nice about it, yourself included. And yeah, you go on joelycett.com and you give me £10
of
give
anything. Butter, flour,
cash, sterling, pound sterling, and then you can download it and keep it forever. You can stream it, or you can gift it to a loved one or an enemy, either. And yeah, but yeah. So thanks for the cash, Sarah.
Very welcome. My right understanding, it was 3 years in the making. Was that partly due to the pandemic, or just because of the things you're planning in the show took that long to come to fruition?
Yeah, it was. I was hoping for it to be shorter, but yeah, it ended up being longer because of the pandemic.
Yeah, because it's about 75 minutes.
It is about 75 minutes, yeah, and it would have been without the pandemic, it probably would have been a tight 5, I would have said. And the pandemic years allowed me to think about it a bit more, I think, plot things differently and whatever. But yeah, the pandemic very much slowed it down. I'm not sure it would have been as effective without the pandemic. I don't know. It's like,
it's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not sure whether the people wanted what we did to happen in the same way, whether they would have been so inspired or whatever in the same way.
Brought everyone together.
You'll never know. You'll never know. All sorts of things would have been different, wouldn't they?
It's very true. Can you tell me, I don't want to say what happens at the end, but the thing that does happen, could you tell me if you're planning for that to return in 2023?
Absolutely.
You are? Yeah. Good.
Yeah. I've got a meeting about it next week.
Oh, really? And your tour is also going to Australia and New Zealand. First time back there in 4 years, I think.
Yeah. Well, because I haven't, I only go when I've got a good show. So I'm taking this show. It'll be a slightly altered version, but not hugely. And doing just a month in Australia and New Zealand, which I'm so excited about because I do love going there, and I've got lots of friends there, so I'll be excited to see them. But the audiences are great, and obviously it's hot, and people are very sexy there, particularly in Sydney. I feel like people are. Whoa. So I'll go and have a look at some sexy people and do some shows to some sexy people, and then fly back to Birmingham, where there's 4 sexy people, I think. Yeah,
that's quite a good amount of sexy people, so you need to be getting tickets for that.
Yeah. Well, just you could just come and look at the audience if you're in Sydney.
Yeah,
and just, whoa, he's all right.
So you don't even need to dim the lights as you do a lot of the time in the UK, because that's why
I don't even need to go, really.
No.
Just sell the tickets and then everyone could just look at one another.
Worth it, I think.
Great idea. And then I can just stay at home, potter about in the garden. That's a really good idea, Sarah. Thank you.
You're very welcome. By the way, at your tour, I also purchased some of your lovely merchandise.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I'm really pleased with that tour book. That was one. So I really like making designy things, and I don't often get a chance to do it. And when you do a tour, you can kind of make a program essentially. I make it into a little book, or made it into a little book this time around. And I work with a company called the Pound Project, who are a Birmingham-based small publisher, and worked with them on it. And I was really chuffed with it. And it's got little extra. It's got a short story in there, but then also like little extra. Thanks. It's weird, isn't it? It's like a stupid, weird story.
I liked it.
And yeah, I really enjoyed that. And all the merch side of things was great. It worked. Yeah, we did lots of sort of collaborating with the Birmingham people and made some fun stuff.
I love that you do that. Also, I want to call this out separately: Arts Emergency badge.
Yes.
Get that on your website.
All of these things, I think what you've just shown, I'm not sure the patches are available, but everything else is available on the website, and you can get the Arts Emergency badge, and all the profits go to Arts Emergency, because lots of people have been asking me about that. You can get it now, and it's I'm just having a look now on my actual website.
It's really good.
It's £5, and then I think you have to pay some shipping, I'm guessing, depending on where you're on in the world. And yeah,
I'm on land.
Not everyone's on land, actually, Sarah.
It's true.
So you can get it there.
I recommend you do.
Thank you. Well, the charity will be thrilled with that as well. And Arts Emergency, if you don't know what Arts Emergency is, your listeners, it's a charity that Josie Long helped set up, who's a brilliant comedian. Has she been on the pod?
She hasn't, outrageously. She's very welcome.
She's very, very good. And the charity helps people get into the arts who might not have had access to the arts for all sorts of reasons. But sometimes they give money, but they also find mentors. So that if they're always on the lookout for that. They sent an email the other day saying one of our I forget what the word. It's not clients, but like one of the people that they're helping is looking to for advice from someone in the fashion industry, and so if you are looking to get into the creative industries, contact Arts Emergency if you've been struggling for whatever reason, and they might be able to help you realize your projects. And it's people who are from poorer backgrounds, who might not have the funding for stuff, or they're just really cool. And the government aren't going to help creative people these days. They're cutting money all over the shop, and creativity is one of the first things to get snipped. And so we need to support the creative arts in other ways.
Really do. So head over to joelycett.com, visit that shop, get the badge, lots of information on the badge, and then you can go and find out more about it too and help support them, which is really important.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. So there's been a massive sporting event recently that's taken the world's attention, WWE Survivor Series, but some people tell me there's also been a sport ball thing happening. And you released a video to David Beckham, who is the Qatari ambassador for the World Cup, and he's had this deal for millions of pounds, and you gave him the opportunity to help support really important LGBT charities supporting people in sports. And then if he didn't reply, you're going to shred a load of money.
Yeah.
You can leave for this, but I'm just going to say all of it.
All right, I'll just go over
Let us
here.
go. Yeah.
I'm still here. Just let me know when you need me back.
Yeah. You can come back now, actually, thinking about it.
Okay, I'm back.
Yeah, I've decided to make this a two-way thing. So that's the setup of what happened. First of all, can you tell me, was David Beckham the person that you thought would potentially get the most attention for the World Cup with what you wanted to shine a spotlight on?
Yeah, exactly that. I felt like he was the most likely to maybe see sense. I don't know, or that his team wouldn't want him, and his team wouldn't want him to get bad press. He wants to. He presents himself as someone who wants to do good in the world, and so I thought, if I can persuade him to make some sort of statement or stand about this, then that could have a real effect on gay people's lives in Qatar. He could say, I'd love to support you, Qatar, and I'd love to do adverts for you, but what are you going to do about gay people in your country? What are you going to do about the human rights in your country? And if you agree to be better on these things, I would be very happy to be your ambassador. He could have said something like that. But what I'm guessing he said was, yeah, how much is it? Yeah, nice. That's what I'm guessing he said.
I think so.
Allegedly.
None of this really happened. And so, yeah, did you hear back from either him or the Spice Girls or his people or his people's people at any point, or even anyone from the England football team, or just anyone in general?
I emailed the FA and spoke to a lovely man there who is from Birmingham, actually. And he was very helpful, very polite. And I asked him to clarify what the FA's stance was on things. And I asked if I could be involved in any way in, helping the team along and doing anything with them. He said that wasn't something that they could offer at this point. And then I asked for clarification on what they were planning on doing, and he sent me the statement that they'd done about the One Love armband. And I then asked them about when they didn't wear the armband, if there was any, what their plans were elsewhere. And I'm not sure I got a reply to that email. But basically, he was very nice, but he just had to sort of toe the party line. And the party line is wholly inadequate, terrible. No answers. No, they don't seem to give a shit, basically. Which is not unsurprising, but it is disappointing. And then Mel B, I asked Mel B, because she's a fan of mine and she comes to my shows. I asked her if I could get David Beckham's number, sort of half joking. And she said that she wouldn't give me his number in the same way that she wouldn't give him my number if he asked for it. And I thought that's fair enough. That's and it's also not on Mel B to fix this.
No. Did you try Mel C to fix it?
I don't have her number. Or Emma Bunton's or Jerry Halliwell.
Yeah, I should have tried Victoria, really.
I should have gone straight to source, really, but so no, I didn't hear from them. And then we have had a bit of back and forth. And by we, I mean my team on Joe Lycett's Got Your Back, because we're making a Christmas special about it. My team, I emailed his PR team and got no response, but my team emailed and they have had a bit of a response, which is some of which we're getting legal. We're getting legal, basically, but working out what legally we can say. But legally, once we've worked that out, there'll be a statement in my show, which will be on Channel 4 on I want to say next Thursday. Let me have a look in the calendar. I want to say next Thursday. It'll be the 15th of December. I'm correct about next Thursday. It'll be on at 9 p.m. on Channel 4 on the 15th of December. And you can watch it afterwards on All 4.
That's bloody good, that was.
Thank you. That's my new single. And that will be released in time for Christmas.
Yeah, because I thought you were going to do Candle in the Wind or something, but you've gone different.
I've gone for the new I'm having a look at my calendar song.
It's beautiful. Last time I think you sang We Don't Like You, Donald Trump.
I've sung songs on your... I don't ever do that on podcasts. I seem to be motivated to sing, which is a lovely thing.
It really is. But you're also slightly off your face on Diet Coke.
Yeah.
So you're so refreshed.
Yes, I am refreshed. I've also had a coffee and I had 2 glasses of white wine at lunch.
Fancy.
And I didn't eat loads at lunch. Yeah, I just had 3 cod goujons.
Oh.
And some chips. Fries.
Right, yeah, sure. Did you have any dippy sauce?
Yeah, like a tartare. Very nice.
Very nice. Now, I need to ask you something about the shredder, because, of course, the day came and passed and you hadn't heard back or anything. So you had £10,000, walked up to a shredder, threw it in there, load of money flew out the other side. Now, it was later revealed that that was a stunt shredder. So real money came in, but fake money went out. And it kind of reminded me of, when you go to a theme park and you put £1 into a machine and you crank a handle and then like a squashed penny with Thorpe Park comes out the other side. Where did you get that from?
Yeah. It's a real shredder. It's the Cobra 650L.
Beautiful. I know, wow.
Beautiful shredder. Retails at about 785, I want to say.
Yeah.
Not sponsored by Cobra, but they do seem to have been promoting that shredder more aggressively, I would say, since the stand. It's perfect for big old, I say big, it's perfect for logs and that sort of thing. It's not ideal for money. And actually, if I'd put real money into that shredder, it wouldn't have come out like it actually did come out on my video. It would have come out just sort of a bit more torn and tattered rather than fully shredded.
Right.
We wanted it to look a bit more dramatic and all that. So that's
Absolutely.
what we did. So let me see if I can find the video. I can show you. This is a scoop for Sarah. just so you can see it, really. Yeah, here we are. Can you see that? I'll press play.
Sinister warehouse where we did the stunt. That's the shredded cash. All fake. Fake money. And this is the shredder. And the real money, which just lands in this little box here. It's real test. There's a house. These have essentially that have the shredded money in there. It's all a trick.
That's it.
Flippin' That's very clever.
Well, it's nothing to do with me. It was a brilliant guy called Tom who invented it and designed it. I just said, "Hey, Tom, want to pretend to shred 10 grand? What are you thinking?" And he came up with that.
That's amazing. Certainly, you got your money's worth because it raised loads of attention on the day of the World Cup. You were trending, and money went to amazing charities too, which is brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah, apparently, I can't remember who came up with this, but there was some sort of firm that did a bit of research, PR firm, and they estimate that based on impressions is the word they use, that I got £2.8 million worth of coverage.
Wow.
Which is about a third of what David Beckham's being paid by Qatar this year, allegedly.
It's not bad, is it?
Not bad. So, I wonder what he'd spend 2.8 million on.
Not the ability to reply to anyone.
No, yes, maybe he just needs a new iPad.
Yeah.
Maybe he's getting the messages, but he's like, "Victor, I can't reply on the iPad." Where's he from?
I don't know. I don't know a single thing about him.
I should know if
I want to say Brooklyn, but I think something else happened there.
Yeah, something naughty happened there.
Yeah.
This is the other thing about it, is that he is so handsome. And it's not in my nature to be to blackmail people who are handsome. London, he's born in London.
Oh.
Early life. Leytonstone. Yeah, sort of East London. So yeah, Cockney. What's Cockney? All right.
So he might just have dial-up internet. Maybe you did reply and it just hasn't got to you yet.
There's a very good point. Yeah.
If you plug in a fax machine, you're probably going to get a message through.
Yeah. You're probably right there. That's what's happened, isn't it? Nightmare. I bet he's really tearing his hair out. I bet he's saying, I've sent the message. Has he not got it? But I sent the message. He'll be doing a lot of that.
Yeah, he's probably sent a follow-up. You'll get it in 19 years or something.
Yeah.
Still just a big misunderstanding. But yeah, I mean, what you did was amazing and really important, and more needs to be done by more people to shine a spotlight on that and have these discussions, rather than just watching football in a pub without the context of what you're watching. Yeah,
the thing with it is that I did notice there was like sort of high profile gays. There was like a lack of them talking about it. I'm not gonna. That's fine, because it was a lot for me to do. It involved a lot of work, but also a lot of thinking it through, thinking about my point, and thinking through the arguments against what I was doing, and the arguments that would be used against me, and the way that people would be against me in general. And it involved a lot of emotional energy and a lot of all the other things. And it's hard enough as it is being a queer person sometimes, or being LGBT in all sorts of different ways. So to then try and like shout about it or fight your corner when there's a huge World Cup going on, and in a world, the football world famously has very little respect for us anyway. So you're going to get, before I even did any of this, most of the people that were attacking me on Twitter were the sort of people that had football shirts as their profile picture. So, they're already against me, a lot of these sorts of people. And so, you're taking one of their most beloved figures and putting them on the spot and a little bit. And I don't expect queer people, gay people to do it. I would never pressure anyone to do it. But I do think it's interesting that there have been fewer voices publicly saying this isn't right. And it made me wonder at points. I thought, have I got this wrong? Does this not affect? Are most queer people okay with this? Is that, I can't quite work out why that's happened, other than, it's just hard to speak up sometimes, and it is like, it's scary.
Yeah, it's so intimidating, especially with football and their culture around it sometimes. And because it's a World Cup as well, you've got the entire world's fans, and it can feel like you're standing up alone against them.
Yeah.
But so much respect to you for doing that. And it's an amazing thing. And I know you started lots of conversations. I saw people sharing it on every social media platform, and, even on Facebook and just everywhere. And
well, that's it. I mean, there were so many people shared it, and so many there's so much support there. I felt that, and I felt emboldened, and that got me through the moments where I thought, fuck, this is really scary, actually. But now I'm taking some time off, and I'm going away for a little bit, so I won't be banging that drum for a little bit.
Yeah.
Will others bang it? I don't know.
I think it's really important to, and just keeping the conversations going. I read an article a few days ago about a trans woman who was forced to have a haircut, and she'd been on hormones and was forced to have a double mastectomy. This doesn't get talked about.
No.
And I think it should, but it's certainly not up to she or anyone to do that. And allies really should step up.
Yeah.
Just think about what they're endorsing, and, have a World Cup, but have it in a responsible, respectful way, so that everyone can enjoy it, and everyone can just be welcome to go to it and feel safe to be themselves and support their team.
No, Sarah. That's not what should be happening. Should be in the next World Cup should be in North Korea.
On the Death Star or something.
Yeah, on the Death Star. And I love Sepp Blatter opens the envelope and it lifts up. It's on the Death Star. That is so good.
I don't think anyone had even passed comment.
Darth Vader gets up in that big conference room and goes, yes! Stormtroopers firing guns in the air. That's a great idea.
Be able to buy custom footballs with little satellites on them.
Yeah.
Well, be careful, they bloody do it.
Yeah, they might do, yeah.
They would.
Got the Emperor, is it the Emperor, the one that, the dark side, that one like that? And he does a little speech at the start of the World Cup. I look forward to and then he lifts one of the footballs up with his hand like that, and then throws it across the room, and it's a funny idea.
It is. I mean, I'd probably watch that, to be honest.
Yeah,
yeah. So speaking of which, you also went on Steph's Packed lunch and you did a stunt on there. Similar thing in that elicited quite strong reactions from people in the time before you revealed what had actually gone on there. Can you tell me a bit about what you do in that time when you know there's going to be a big reveal and there's this big storm you've got to ride? Do you just kind of turn your phone off or just go and hang out with friends for a bit until it all blows over, or do you enjoy it a bit?
I enjoy it a bit, actually.
You do?
I did. There was a point where I was quite sort of sad to reveal that I hadn't actually shredded 10 grand, for example, because I sort of was quite enjoying being a villain.
Yeah.
There's something quite fun about it. Being in the middle of a media storm is quite fun, but only if you know that you've got a plan. But yeah, it is, I suffer with anxiety, and it is a real big old anxiety spike that you get from these sorts of things.
I bet, yeah.
I'd recommend doing on a regular basis, because you probably go mad. Hence why I'm taking some time out. But yeah, it definitely, what did it do? The Steph Pack lunch thing, my friend said it was like being at your own funeral, It's watching everyone kind of pile in and go, I always knew he was like there was a real appetite for being like, I always knew he was a fucking prick, there's that sort of sense. And it was interesting watching that happen. And I am a prick in lots of ways, so then fair enough.
I think it's also a good way to find out who your friends are and your fans are and stuff, and just sort of have faith in you and what you're doing, and to see how things play out.
Yeah, well, that was it. A lot of my fans, particularly people who've seen this latest stand-up show, will know that I'm normally plotting something. There's normally more going on behind things that I do. So I think a lot of my fans who would have seen the stand-up show probably knew, and I saw some of them posting about it, saying like, it's Joe Lycett, like he's not going to just shred 10 grand and that's that, like there's something more coming here, like
I think it'll get a bit easier having that reputation a little bit when you do future things, because people will feel a bit safer and trusting what it is you're doing.
Maybe.
Or not. Depends what you do, I suppose.
Depends what I do. See, I have no idea what the next thing is, but I think the next thing can't be threatened. I just need to do it. Maybe. Yeah. You can't say, if this person does this, I'll do this. But then I suppose if I did do something, people go, oh, he didn't do that, that's faked. So you have to make... Do you have to basically make something so convincing that is awful that you then reveal afterwards is faked?
But see, you can do the reverse, because you can do something that shocks people, then the reveal is you actually flipping did it.
Oh, God, yeah. I mean...
Because people will be expecting there to be a twist, but if you literally do something...
Yeah.
And you can sort of play with people's expectations. I
can sort of get away with anything now, because I can claim I faked it to raise awareness of something. Yeah.
It's like rob a bank. Oh, it's probably a joke. He's going to give that money back in a minute.
It's a statement to do. Let's rob a bank, Sarah. Like if I, let's say I drink drive, which is obviously appalling and you shouldn't do it.
Yeah, don't do that.
Crash. And I'm just thinking it through now. I'm coming up with the idea. Let's say I just drink drive and I crash.
Knock over a statue.
Into a statue of... Oh, it just feels like you'd immediately... everyone would be like, okay, what's the stunt? Like they would, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
If I knocked an elderly person over and they died by accident, would people think that's a stunt now?
I don't know.
I get away with it now because I could say, oh, that elderly person worked for Shell. Is that, could I murder someone now and get away with it? And people think, oh, what a clever stunt.
Probably for a couple of days, but I think because we're not in the 1800s anymore, they might properly check that.
No,
unless the person had a long lost
the state of journalism in 2022. I don't think so.
No one's journalist. No. This is just a Zoom chat.
Journalists have Zoom, sir.
It's true. I don't have it. I just have to get closer to the camera.
Right. Yeah.
Zoom in that way.
Is that what level of Zoom would you say that is?
It's pretty good. It's pretty high definition 4K zoomage.
4K Zoom. Yeah.
It's Zoom. Now, last time I spoke to you was in 2018, and at the time you had been a guest on Travel Man, but now you have actually become Richard Iowadi.
Yeah. Yeah, I am now fully Richard Iowadi. That's the new twist.
If I've understood the storyline correctly.
Yeah. Yeah, you got it. Nailed it.
Yeah. So you're now the host. There's been a series already. I know you've just been filming. What can you tell me what your favorite destination to date is?
My favorite destination to date is probably San Sebastian. I went back to San Sebastian and I loved that. Just the food was so good. So I took my dad back and we went and we did a cooking course.
Amazing.
Brilliant. Loved it. Yeah, so probably San Sebastian. But I've been to I loved Marseille. That'll be in a future series, not gone out yet. really loved. Split in Croatia. A lot of the team were saying, "Oh, we'll definitely come back here because it's hot, but like nice, you know."
Mm.
Um, it's hot but nice. It's hot but like not too busy, I think is
Yeah.
what I mean. Um, just did a Christmas special in Rio. That was so good. I'd love to go back for Carnival. But yeah, I think for me, for what I like, which is wine and food and relaxed vibes and little taster plates and trying different flavors and different environments in bars and all that. San Sebastian, really. It's my perfect way of eating and drinking and like
Yeah.
experience a place. It's just different bars and yeah.
When you travel, you're very much go to the place, see some of the sites, but enjoy the food and the culture rather than, you know, sit on a beach with a book or go to a resort or
Oh
something.
no, I mean, my favorite thing is to be lying down with fruit being put into my gob by anyone. Really, doesn't I don't care who's doing it. That's my favorite kind of holiday.
Mm.
But I do also love eating and drinking.
It's
But
really good.
I tell you, the thing that I don't like doing is like walking around, having a look at a building, going to a museum. All of that can get fucked. I want to eat, drink, lie down, swim. That's it.
It's a pretty good combo. Have you got a dream destination that you'd love to go to in the show and a guest that you'd like to take with you? Or maybe break with tradition and take a couple?
What, like, as in a couple of guests or
Yeah.
a couple?
Well, you could if you wanted.
Yeah. I'd love to go with David and Victoria Beckham to where's the really gay place?
San Francisco,
San
Brighton. Just go to Brighton.
Brighton to Brighton. Yeah. Yeah. I'd love to go to New York because I've never been to New York, and I'd love to go to Tokyo because I've never been to Tokyo. I mean, there's a million other places I'd like to go as well. I'd love to do more of Africa because I've not been there loads, and I've loved it when I've been there, and India, and yeah, so loads of places I'd like to go.
Speaking of which, do you have any travel man tips for finding the best location or the best place to stay, or do you just have like a booking researching team that does that?
My tip would be get a research team, the team that work on Travel Man, to go and do a recce before you go, try everything out, and meet all the people, get all their numbers so that it can be very seamlessly and smoothly organized when you get there.
It's very good advice.
That's my advice. Otherwise, I sort of feel like just live your life. I mean, like when you get there, you'll. It's I never when people say I want to go, I want to have the best this and the best that.
Yeah.
How do we know? How do we know what the best of anything is? So I think, you know, there might be two or three things that you want to book, but it's like going to the Edinburgh Festival. The whole point of going to the Edinburgh Festival is to just like wander around and go, oh, what's on in an hour? I fancy seeing a show, and then just seeing what's on, and then being pleasantly surprised or horrified, or, you know, I just think trying to go into a city and do all the best things that have been decided by Lonely Planet or whatever is really boring. Like,
I completely agree. I've been to Spain before and I love just walking down and exploring the streets and go, oh, that place looks nice. I'm going to go in there for lunch or whatever it is.
exactly. Yeah. That's the best way to live your life, I think. But yeah, I know some people really want to like say that they've been to the best things, but I don't care.
It's super subjective too, because people may just have different tastes.
Yeah, and also you might be in the wrong headspace. Yeah, I might go and see a show that everyone thinks is brilliant, and I'm just, you know, not feeling great, and I won't enjoy it, and I won't want to be there. But then I might, well, go on another day and love it. So it all depends on the company and all that. So I think just live your life, Sarah.
In 2019, the Lord Mayor of Birmingham opened your kitchen. There was a massive ceremony. But can you tell me, is the rest of your house still shut off, or have you had private ceremonies to open up your bedroom and the lounge?
No, none of the other places have been open to the public. or been opened at a public ceremony. I did have my bathroom redone last year, and there is talk of maybe Paul Chuckle or someone like that opening that.
Very nice.
But no, there isn't. There hasn't been a ceremony for any of the others thus far. I think a downstairs loo is a funny place to have an opening for, and you could have a toilet roll that you cut like a ribbon, but toilet roll.
Well, like an under the stairs one.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Like a small one, and then everyone can go in and have a look around and go, and sign a book, maybe. Here's a thought. Right, Sarah, I've had this idea.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I've heard people like podcasts.
Yeah, just a bit, yeah.
And I don't have one. Everyone goes on about, oh, you've got to get a podcast. But I don't want to do a shit one.
Mm.
And then I realized that's exactly what I want to do. So this is the idea.
Pitch it to me.
Who likes it's Brown Hour. I have a guest on every week or every episode, and I talk to them about poo.
Yeah.
And about how where they like to poo, the best poos they've done, the worst poos, most embarrassing, most satisfying. The opening question is, have you ever done a poo and not done a wee at the same time?
Oh.
That's the kind of, and then at the end of each episode, it gets the kind of their favorite and least favorite poos get jotted down in the log book. What do you think?
I would listen to that. I mean, I have probably too many stories myself, but yeah.
I feel like everyone's got a story about poo.
Yeah.
But do you think it's too much?
Well, I know you've obviously just been on Kathy Burke's podcast about death. So I think poo's a step up from that.
Yeah.
It's an improvement.
Yeah. I might do it. I might
think
just
you
have a little
should.
go at it, see what happens.
Do it, see what happens. I
What,
reckon
have you
people-
ever done a poo?
I've done a
Have
poo,
you ever
yeah.
done a poo?
And my favourite
Have you-
place to do a poo is my bum. So
Fair.
it means that nothing's ruptured.
But have you ever done a poo and not done a wee at the same time? That is the question I'm trying to ask you, Sarah, and you're being silly.
Well, I've done the opposite of that. I've done what could have been a wee or a poo because I had a stomach bug.
Oh, I see. So you did like a
Yeah.
wee out of your bum.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not sort of not the question I'm asking.
I don't know if it's possible to, is it?
Well,
Well, I don't know if
I
they
think-
necessarily both happen simultaneously, but you normally start with a wee and then the poo happens.
yeah,
Right?
Yeah. Or you squeeze the poo out, and while you're squeezing, a bit of wee comes out. But I've got friends who've said that they've like had a wee and then realized, oh, I also need a poo.
Mm.
And so they finish the wee and then have a poo. So they're not doing a wee whilst having a poo.
See, the problem is if you don't have your phone or a book with you and you thought you're just going for a minute and you're going for half an hour.
Yeah, nightmare.
I'd say an add-on question is, have you ever thought you're just doing a fart and it was
Yeah.
it
And
wasn't?
the answer is
Yeah.
yes. The
It was
answer
too
is
hard.
yes. I thought I had a fart when I was going to school once, and I don't literally just left the house, and I trusted a fart, and it was a poo, and I had to run back into the house, and I cried. And I said to Mum, I thought it was a fart, and she went, right, up you get. Washed me down, and I was back. I was on the school bus. No one was any the wiser. That's a trauma. I think so.
Perfect crime.
I think there's something in it.
I think that, well, yeah, that's sweet corn. Bit of carrot, even though you haven't eaten any.
Yeah. Okay, Brown Hour coming
I
up.
think you should.
Yeah. That's next year's job. You get it sponsored by Andrex, Imodium.
Oh, now that saved my life one day. I'm just going to add this as a special add-on feature for your show, if you like. I was in Egypt and fine the entire time, food all good and everything. I accidentally had an ice cube and wasn't good. the day I was due to fly back, I was very unwell, and I had a medium to stop me from needing the toilet for that 5-hour flight. But it wasn't good.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah, it is. I've only ever used a medium once because of a flight again, and it works, doesn't it?
Pretty brilliant.
Yeah, really.
For emergencies.
For emergencies, for emergencies, it's great. Yeah, I think based on this conversation, there's real mileage in Brown.
I think it's probably going to get commissioned for a film eventually.
Yeah, who would play Gary Brown?
Owen Wilson.
Oh, Owen Wilson. Yeah. Right. Perfect.
I feel like Helen Mirren's in it for some reason.
What she should be. Well, that's the opening guest, I would say.
Well, it's sophisticated, isn't it? So
yeah.
I think that's going to happen, and then it's obviously going to be localized into lots of different languages as well. There's going to be different versions of the film, different takes on it.
Yeah,
192 countries. So many people can relate to it.
Yeah, I'd be amazed if anyone can't.
I just want to find that one person that can poo without weeing.
Yeah. What an extraordinary skill that would be.
Not great at parties.
No.
It really isn't.
No. I suppose birds do that because they have a cloaca, don't they?
They do.
So they sort of poo and piss it all in one, sort of like what you were talking about when you had that stomach bug. So, and that's their sex organ. And I don't know how, do they just rub their cloacas together, or does some have cloacas that are also knobs, or
I've never Googled it.
I've never, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I'm just catching up with a few things that happened in the time that we last spoke to each other. So there's just a few burning questions that I've had. And one of them is, of course, in 2020, you changed your name to Hugo Boss for a while. And I wondered if you still occasionally get mailed that name or anything like that. I know I've still seen some of your old merchandise in the shops, the clothing line that you had out at the time.
Yeah.
Out there with that name on it. But
yeah, I've not seen a penny yet for any of that, but I don't. Hopefully one day I will. I do occasionally. People shout at me in the street and things. So yeah, I do still get a little bit of that.
You do?
But no, I haven't. Not recently. Not distracted by everything else. But yeah, people still do go like, "Oh, should I call you Hugo Boss?" You know, they say that, and I go, "No." That's it. That's the length of the exchange.
Just don't call you.
Yeah, just don't speak to me again. Yeah, that would be better. That would be best.
Just sing at me.
Yeah. If you're going to speak to me, sing.
How's your garden coming along, by the way? I know that you've got some really absolutely filthy sounding plants in the garden. I know we're in winter time now. Are you out there as much?
No, I've not been in Birmingham for ages, so it's fallen to rack and ruin. I have a lovely lady called Wendy who comes occasionally. In the summer she comes every fortnight to keep an eye on things. But no, I haven't been there recently. But I got a greenhouse. It was my end of tour gift to myself.
Brilliant.
And next year I cannot wait to give the greenhouse a little whirl. I've been doing some like winter veggies in there, but because I'm not here, I've not been able to water them. And currently, I believe, right as we speak, the temperature in Birmingham is a cool -3. So it wouldn't surprise me if everything's dead, basically. I lied, it's -2. Yeah. Things generally die, and things that are delicate generally die in a frost. Yeah.
Especially you've got to work out some kind of heating or automated watering system or something. I don't know.
Yeah, yes, it's.
I mean, my plants are all just fake, so.
Yeah, well, maybe that's the way to do it. Maybe I should just fill the garden with Lego plants.
You should.
Yeah, but then I'd get bored of them, and I'd
no, because you can still make them grow. Just add on a bit.
Oh, add on a bit.
Yeah.
God said in nature, he said, "Oh, I like these flowers I've made, but I'm a bit bored." And Jesus said, "I'll just add on a bit."
But the good thing is you don't even have to have them grow fruit. They can grow a car or a horse or something.
Fruit of this particular plant is a racing car. Yeah.
I think it's a good idea. I recently watched your episode of Who Do You Think You Are? It's really fascinating, actually. Have you continued exploring your family tree?
I haven't really, but what I have done is I had a bit of correspondence with somebody now. I'm trying to remember how he basically, he's not related to me, but he knows people. He realized that he knew people who were part of the story,
Yeah.
who are all related to me. And so I sent him all the research, because they send you the huge research pack after it's gone out, and they show you all the research. So I've gone through some of that. So I've not done any more than that, but I've gone through some of the documents and all of that. But that's sort of for a rainy day, or for when I'm older. I want to like sit and go through each document and go like, what does this mean, and all of that. But I think not for now.
Yeah, I had a look on ancestry.com, but a lot of the time it suggests things to you, but you kind of need to already know it. It's like, it'll go, is this correct? And I don't know, because it was 400 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's complicated. So, yeah, I'm gonna wait till I've got some proper time to look into it.
Yeah, really interesting episode, and you go on a hell of a journey, and you focus on one person in particular. But yeah, if people haven't seen that, it's available on demand still.
Stabby Bob, as I call him.
Yeah, just a bit.
Yeah,
No, it was.
what I'd like to do is to get a gravestone for him, because he doesn't have a gravestone. But
yeah, that'd be nice.
this is my great grandfather, I want to say. Yeah.
Yep.
Or more, and one more great. He was great when he wasn't stabbing people.
So true. How did you decide which direction you went in with that? Which family tree to go down and person to focus on?
It's entirely up to them. So they basically find the story, and then you explore it.
Yeah.
Based on who they've found, essentially. I actually thought we'd go down the Lycett strand, but we obviously stuck on the well, it wasn't Scully, was it? That was my nan's surname. What was his surname?
Robert Wilkinson.
Wilkinson, that's it. Thank you. Yeah, we went down the Wilkinson line. There's a lot of interesting mad stuff from that gang. So
was a bit. Now you famously you weren't one who met you, but you've become very, very right wing. And you recently took down a former prime minister. Have you got any plans to do that again in the future?
Yeah.
Good.
I'm looking forward to dismantling the entire British political landscape. That's my plan. Yeah.
You ever considered running for El Presidente?
No. I you know me, I like to lie down.
It's true.
And you'd have to do so much. You'd have to have a word with people and speak about shit. I'm so not fussed.
Could you just get like a duvet that looks like bookshelf, so it looks like they're behind you as opposed to you're laying on them?
Oh, that's a thought.
Work, isn't it?
That could work when I become prime minister. I'll look into it.
Could you? I'd appreciate that.
Yeah, I'll look into it.
I was having a bit of a look on your website, and I love all of your short films, and you directed music videos as well.
Yeah.
You've been doing like 1 or 2 a year so far. And I've not seen the latest release, Ray, because it's not available to stream, I think. Will that become available?
I hope so eventually. It's basically, at the minute, it's sort of being submitted to film festivals. And so a lot of film festivals don't like it to be publicly available and all of that. So we're just putting it into film festivals, but eventually it'll be out somewhere. And I've just filmed a new short film, which will be coming out or hopefully being submitted to film festivals next year. But it's up to them whether they'll screen it or not. But I'm getting, if I say so myself, I think I'm getting better at it, which is the direction you want to get in. So I'm getting really excited about making films and making more adventurous ones. And there's a bit of CGI in the new one, and it's a bit more, it's just a bit more adventurous.
Yeah, I've loved everything you've done so far. They've been light, entertaining, creative. Your art comes through in it as well, especially the music videos, I find.
Yeah, well, I like visual arts, and I like color, and and bold visuals. So yeah, I'd like to do more and more of that, really.
Are you still finding much time to paint? Is that like your go-to thing when you're not touring or anything to unwind?
Yeah, painting, or I bought a kiln, and so I've been making pottery, and that I find is such an antidote to the world
Yeah.
because you're really in something and you're not thinking about anything else. And you can put a podcast on in the background or whatever, but you're kind of half listening to it because you're in the thing that you're doing. So I love it. I really love it. But it's like, I think it's similar to people that love baking or sports in lots of ways. It's sort of, it gets you into a meditative state. And I think that's great.
It's so good. I always have a few canvases set up in a spare room, and I got an iPad with the pen just so I can just draw and paint and do caricatures or whatever it is. And I just have it with me so that the telly's on. I just realize I haven't watched anything for 4 hours and I've just drawn a load of nonsense, but I love doing it.
Yeah. No, that's what life's about. Which is why we support Arts Emergency and help all people to make things.
We should. Now, Joe, I must tell you, I was initially very traumatized when you unfollowed everyone on Twitter, but I was immediately relieved when I saw that you follow Babe Station, because you probably just thought you were following me anyway.
Yeah. Now, you say that, however, I don't follow Babe Station. I follow, and I'm just having a look to make sure I get it right, Babe Station Models, which is essentially, I think, a fan account of Babe Station. They haven't posted since February the 1st, 2021. And it's just weird shit. And I just thought, I unfollowed everyone because I had been told that if you do that, it's actually better for your mental health because you don't get, you go on Twitter to find the things that you want to find and you look specifically and you don't get caught up in the scrolling, and that has very much been the case. I don't look at Twitter half as much as I used to. I go on there to have a look at what I want to look at, and then I don't when I don't, and it's not a scrolling thing. But I thought it'd be worth following one as a joke, and I thought following Babe Station Models would be funny. And
so that's the only updates you get now, is that? But from a year ago.
Well, I followed Babe Station Models and then muted it, so I don't even get updates from them. So I get no updates, basically. Although what it started doing now is it sort of shows you things based on things you've liked, what you might like. It sort of just does all that. It's sort of desperate for your attention.
It is a bit.
So fucking needy. It's like, have a look at me. No.
Yeah, I've been spending quite a lot less time on Twitter recently. It's a lot less stressful, isn't it?
Yeah, life without Twitter is good, really. So today, when we're recording this, the Meghan and Harry doc went out, and I was very curious about that and sort of interested to see the responses. But then I've looked at Twitter for years, and I can now, based on that, any event, any global event, I can sort of now predict what the general Twitter response will be, which will be some people saying one thing and some people saying the opposite. And that's it. That's all Twitter is.
Pretty
you
much.
Just say like, oh, Carol Vorderman sat in a chair. And someone will go, I think it's great that Carol Vorderman's sitting in a chair. She's worked hard. She's been a brilliant broadcaster. She deserves to sit in a chair. And then someone else will say, fucking Carol Vorderman sitting in a chair again while people are in a cost of living crisis. It's disgusting. These ITV presenters need to have a fucking good look at themselves, the pricks. That's it. That's Twitter.
Imagine having that energy all the time about everything. I can't imagine just being that angry constantly. I don't particularly like Brussels sprouts, for example, but I don't go into a shop and shout at them like every single day. Like I did twice a week, but it's not every day.
Yeah. Yeah. Be in the supermarket when on the days when you're doing that, please.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, I have to swap it around and travel further and further now. They're getting to know that I do that, but
yeah, they've stopped stocking them.
Yeah. It's Christmas now. It's the worst time for it.
They are shit, aren't they, sprouts?
Bloody horrible.
I quite like them when they're hidden with like butter and pancetta and things like that.
Yeah.
But basically, I like butter and pancetta.
That's it. With a lot of things, you can eat them, but you kind of have to hide the taste a bit.
It's also the word sprout.
Yeah. And they're not very sprouty. Nothing sprouts out of them, do they?
No, and they're not very Brussels-y either.
No.
They are quite fascinating how they grow. I grew them last year, and I didn't realize how they grew on this like very woody stem, and then all the like the leaves and the individual sprouts. They do look kind of amazing, and they are reliably when you grow them, they sort of stick around, and I think they can survive through a frost. They probably can't actually, but they're hardier than your average.
Yeah. They're easier to maintain.
And they just stay there, yeah. So I get why people grow them, but nah.
That's why everyone's trying to get rid of all their sprouts all the time.
Yeah. Because they're shit.
They are a bit. Now, here's a question I ask every guest on the Sarah O'Connell show. Can you tell me a fun fact about you, something we may not know? Hobby, a party trick, something like that?
No. There must be something. I make a fantastic tomato soup.
Do you really? What do you put in it? Apart from tomatoes.
Well, that's the twist. There's not one tomato in my
How many are there?
There's dozens. Depending on how big they are. I make a really nice tomato soup. I cut up an onion, some tomatoes, cut them in half, and I put them in a pan on the hob with loads of olive oil in it, salt, pepper, bit of cayenne pepper or paprika.
Very nice.
Let that sort of char a little bit so you get like the black bit on the bottom of the tomato. Then you roast the shit out of it 20 minutes or so. Midway through, drop a garlic in there. Get that roasted. Then you get it out and you put vegetable stock in. And then you just mash it. You don't whiz it, you just get a masher. Mash it all up. Little bit of cream, give it a stir. Heaven. Really simple.
Any suggestions of kinds of bread to have with that if you have it?
I love a crouton, but something crispy, something buttery.
Well, so now if anyone watching this tries that recipe, send in your photos of it. We want your reviews.
Yeah, I'd like to know how you feel about it. Yeah.
I think so.
It is, by the way, Gordon Ramsay's recipe.
Is it?
Just so you're aware.
It's going to come out quite well then.
Yeah. yeah. Just so you know that when I say I make a nice tomato soup, I didn't invent tomato soup.
Oh, you didn't?
No, I didn't. No. Actually, fuck it. Yeah, I'll go with that. I invented tomato soup.
I've not heard anyone else claim it.
Exactly. Sarah, I'd love you to fucking prove that I didn't invent tomato soup.
Well, we've got the internet now. It'll probably take 4 seconds.
Yeah, it wouldn't though. Haters would say, oh, well, tomato soup has been eaten for hundreds of years. Joe has been alive for 34 years.
Or so you tell us.
Exactly.
So I mentioned earlier on that you are, of course, on Kathy Burke's podcast, and your answer to what you imagined how you might like to die if no one wants to die, but you imagined a sort of Sopranos scenario. Yes. Which kind of makes sense to me because it's ambiguous and you don't necessarily know what happens at the end. I wonder if you might face a situation like Andy Kaufman had and still has to a degree, and that people don't necessarily believe that it really happened.
Yeah, that could happen, couldn't it? That people sort of again think it's a stunt.
Yeah.
What can I do about it? I'm dead. Move on, guys. Leave me here. You carry on. Yeah, I don't know. I do think that, like, as we discussed, if I get myself into any sort of trouble, anything that's maybe newsworthy, people won't trust that it isn't just what it is. And that could be to my benefit.
You're aware of that, so you can bring people on different journeys and get people talking in different ways because they have one set of expectations. So you can play around with that a bit.
He'd be too smart to kill a prostitute, wouldn't he? That kind of thing.
Not again.
Not again. Yeah. Be an interesting life, really, going forward. I love living me. It's one of my favorite things, being alive.
I like it. See, I think my answer would just be I'd either want to die of really, really old age or just, get cryogenically frozen. And I don't think I actually want to do that because I thought about that. I thought everyone that I'd know and love won't be there unless they're frozen too. So,
yeah. But isn't the idea that they defrost you at some point and you've kind of defrosted with people that you... I suppose they just defrost you, don't they?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think I'd quite like just being cold in a little fridge.
Yeah.
They'd be there forever.
It's fine as long as they don't have a power cut, I suppose.
Oh, that'd be a nightmare, wouldn't it?
Can you imagine the embarrassment?
Oh, it'd be so awkward. And I imagine they probably just freeze you in. They don't freeze you in clothes, do they? They just freeze you naked. So you have a power cut, and then you wake up and you're cold, and you're like, oh God, look at my bloody cock and bollies. They've shriveled.
Who put them back on?
Yeah, that's what you'd think, I'm sure. Yeah. Yeah.
I think on Monday, if I've got this correct, just filmed the Christmas special of Joe Lycett's Got Your Back.
That's right. Yeah.
Is it just a one-off Christmas special? Is there going to be a full series?
One-off Crizzy Spesh, and then we're hoping to do some more next year. We haven't got it scheduled. It probably won't be until the autumn, winter of next year.
Sure.
Would be my guess. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a brilliant show, and you're so perfectly cast for it, and it's a lot of fun.
It's a fun show to make. It's a lot to make. It's a really intense thing to be involved in. But I'm amazed at what we've achieved with it. I mean, we literally have got back millions in pounds to people who have been wronged by companies, which is mad, really.
Yeah, it's incredible, and it's a great thing you're doing, and forcing a bit companies to treat their customers better, which I think is really important. And it's a shame that this has to happen, but it's a light-hearted way of bringing really important conversations to people.
Yeah. No, it's thank you. No, we're very proud of it, and we've done some crazy things, and we've got more to do, more crazy things to come. But yeah, it's been a great run.
You're doing your annual fundraiser on the 11th of December at Birmingham Glee to raise money for Crisis. What can you tell us about it?
Yeah, we do it. Well, we try and do it most years. I didn't get round to it one of the years. Due to my incredibly busy schedule, being driven around in executive cars, but
Very fancy.
Very fancy cars. But I do a gig at the Birmingham Glee Club, and I get some cool people to be on it, and we try and raise some dosh for the homeless. And this year it feels like kind of more important for some reason. I know why, because there's going to be more people affected by homelessness this year because of the state of cost of living crisis and all of that. So we need to, if we can, support our homeless charities as much as possible, and because they need our support more than ever. So yeah, so it's not a huge thing, but it's something I enjoy doing. And yeah, but I'm nervous about it this year because I haven't done much stand-up since the tour ended, and I haven't written any new stand-up really. So I'll be slightly flailing about, but fortunately I've got good acts on who will scoop me up and help me and make it a funny show, and then I can just come on between everything and just have a little chat, have a little natter.
Yeah. See, I saw you at Bee Festival once, and between the stand-up stuff you're doing, you're just doing loads of crowd work, and you're so good at that too. So I think people are going to be in for a treat.
Well, I'm I haven't done crowd work for a while either, so I just feel a bit rusty, but it'll be all right. I'll work it out.
Again, have you ever considered recording and streaming it so that more people can give money to the charity?
Oh, that's a thought. Yeah, no, I didn't consider that. Yeah, at some point that might be a good idea. I get a bit scared about streaming a live stand-up gig because once it's out of the room, people start to sort of, I don't know, it's nice to keep it in the room.
Yeah.
But you're right, it might be, it might be smart to do it or to find some other way of people helping out, but I don't know quite how. It's also like, people stand-up's material is very precious to them, and streaming it and all of that to lots of people might not be, if they've just signed up for a little charity gig, might not be what.
So that's the thing, you kind of burn through the material once it's been on telly, don't you?
Exactly, yeah. So, but yeah, it's not a bad idea, that.
And can you tell me, have you started writing your next show yet?
No.
Or do you have planted seeds for anything yet?
No, I have nothing currently. But I am hoping in this sort of month off or so, some seeds will emerge.
Yeah. Are you planning, because you're taking some time off, are you actually planning to go anywhere in particular, or just?
I don't know. Probably will go away, but it'll be instinctive, I think.
Yeah.
Not instinctive, it'll be like spontaneous. It'll be just, yeah, that's the plan.
I've done that before, just turn up at a travel agent and just going to Rome. Spontaneously go to Rome. I did that.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Rome's cool.
Liked it.
Love to go to Rome, actually. Ooh, that's put a thought in Mummy's head, isn't it? Maybe Rome, but I want to go hot as well.
The Mediterranean, I don't know what it's like in winter, but I imagine it'd be warmer than here.
Yeah.
I don't know. Australia?
Yeah, well, Australia, but I'm going to Australia in May, so I think I'll save that for when I go in May.
You could just go anywhere and wear a jacket.
Yeah, good point. I could just put the heating on really high in my house and just be like, whoa, God, it's so hot here in Mauritius/Birmingham. Yeah. It's a great plan.
It's a lot cheaper. Well, no, the heating isn't, but if you put 10 coats on.
Yeah. That's a very funny idea. Very funny.
Now, you recently alluded to the idea that you're working on something very naughty for Channel 4 that will probably piss off a lot of people and potentially put you in danger too. Do you know when we might learn more about whatever that is?
It involves David Beckham.
Wonderful.
That was in my mail out, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, that was it basically.
Well, that worked.
Yeah. Yeah, it did.
You weren't joking, were you?
No, I wasn't joking. Yeah, so no, yes, I can tell you about that. It's when I threatened to shred 10 grand in protest against David Beckham's deal with Qatar.
That makes a lot of sense.
And it will be on Channel 4 and on all 4. So yeah, it'll be on Channel 4 today.
And can you tell me what else you might be working on? I know obviously you're going on tour in Australia. Got anything? Are you writing any books? You're working on any more films? Doing any more art? What is going on with you?
Oh, hang on. Wait there. I'm going to show you something. Right. People don't know about this. When will this podcast go out, by the way?
I'm going to do this next. Oh, well, when do you want it to go out?
Well, I don't mind. Whenever you want.
Yeah. No one watches it.
Don't tell anyone. But I love graphic design. It was what I was telling you before about like loving designing things with the tour book, and I also love visual art and all of that. And I've wanted to make a gorgeous coffee table book for my whole life. And I became obsessed with bins a few years ago, and I've been photographing bins lots and love bins and love all that. And so decided that that's what my table would be about. It would be bins. And I've been working on it for ages, and it's now finished, but it's not coming out until next year. I'm just sort of holding off for a little bit. But essentially, it's a book about bins, loads of photos of bins, and I've had it made in Milan. I went to Milan to be on press, as they call it, and help with it. And this is it. And it looks like a gay bin bag. It's very shiny, and it's got an exposed, what's known as a Coptic bind. So it's an exposed bind, and then it's inside lots of lots of like stuff to do with bins. And there's only going to be 1,000 copies, and they're all going to be signed and numbered. And then there's lots of just pictures of bins that I've taken, and then writing about bins. So this one says, a bin like the dusty, sweat-stained wheel grip of a forgotten Ford Transit.
Lovely.
A bin like the panicked moment when you find yourself alone in the conservatory with Uncle Glenn. And there's also a foreword written by Daisy May Cooper, because she went to the BAFTAs dressed in a bin bag. There's an academic essay by a woman called Katrina Navicaz, who has written about, she's a historian of public space, and she's written about the history of bins. And that's a very interesting essay. This is all, it's all, and designed it all. This paper is recycled coffee cups.
Oh, wow.
It smells so nice. It doesn't smell like coffee. And then there's, it's split into 3 sections. The actual pictures of bins: straight bins, cis bins, gay bins. And the gay bins are all like the colourful ones at the back, basically. And they've all got like coloured paper and all that. And then that's a cis bin. Just feel like it's cis, Feels cis to me. And then yeah, that's it. That's bins.
Brilliant. Lovely. So where's it going to be available? Is it going to be on your website?
It will mainly be on my website.
Yeah.
And then I believe it's going to be stocked in some really cool places, like I think like the V&A are going to stock it, and Royal Academy and places like that. So
wow.
I'm so excited about it. But this is a scoop, Sarah, and you can't tell anyone.
I won't.
But yeah, basically, they will go on my website at some point in the new year, and there'll only be 1,000. And once they're gone, they're gone. I won't make any more.
I'm going to be pre-ordering one of them then, or several, and then I'll just sell them on myself.
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah. But have you got a favourite bin in your house? Or these are all outside the house around the world?
I can show you my favourite in the book. Find it. Well, actually, I changed my mind on this quite a lot. So it's my favourite for now. Where is she? I just love them. Do you like a bin?
Yeah, I do like a bin. Yeah.
Where is this fucker? I need to get used to finding it, because there it is. These are, and this is a bin like a neatly tied string round a sandwich bag of guff.
Guff.
Look how smiley he is. What a lovely bin. Do you agree?
That has actually cheered me right up, that bin.
Good. Yeah, it's cheered me up as well.
Yeah.
So that's
pretty good.
That's bin. That's my bins.
Are you already working on a sequel? Because obviously there's a lot of different kinds of bins.
No, I'm not working on a sequel, but these are all British bins.
Are they?
So I could work on an international one, I suppose. I could do an international one. But to be honest, I've got so many pictures of bins that I could end up doing, I could be doing this for years, really. So I think I might, that might be it for me. But
very nice.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Thanks. It's a little something, isn't it?
It is. Your last book was just so much fun to read through, and you wrote something absolutely disgusting at the beginning of my one. And yeah, I look forward to reading it.
Yeah, as well. I've written a little bit about bins, only a short thing. And the other thing that's in there is some writing by a man who works for Biffa Bins, who works in refuse collection, not in a refuge. And he's written a lovely little piece about how we should think about our bins, and we should unpack them more. And then there's
Thanks,
also
eh?
these lovely pages with my artwork on that's with glossy, shiny things with my packets and things. Wankers crisps. That's it. That's
That's fun.
bins.
Love it. And crisps.
And crisps.
The wrappers go in bins.
Yeah, yeah. Exactly. That's why I did it.
By the way, there's someone in America, a huge fan of yours. Anytime I say, who should I bring back to my show, always replies with you, specifically you.
Ah,
Massive fan. Her name's Sammy Colucci. Could you just say hi, Sammy Colucci?
Sammy Colucci.
Yeah.
Hi, Sammy Colucci. Thanks for requesting me on the Sarah O'Connell show. I think I spoke to her when I did a Q&A with Litany ages ago. So hello again, Sammy Colucci. And yeah, thanks for requesting me on the podcast.
Have you got any messages for people watching the Sarah O'Connell show and your fans around the world?
I would like to say thank you for listening to the Sarah O'Connell show. Continue that good work.
Joe Lycett, thank you so much for coming back on my show for my mentor's 5th occasion. You're always welcome anytime, and I always have the best time chatting to you.
Likewise, don't let Catherine Ryan on this podcast again until I've done it again.
Till you've done 6. Yeah, you have to do 6 and then she can come back.
Yeah, exactly.
And do another one. And thank you to everybody watching at home. Be sure to share, subscribe, give this video a big thumbs up, and leave lots of lovely comments. I'll see you all again soon for another episode of the Sarah O'Connell Show. Bye.
It's been a pleasure. I'm so glad we made it happen. Tonight on the Graham Norton Show, it's Sarah O'Connell, and she'll be talking about her podcast. And we'll also have the Red Chair. Subscribe to the Sarah O'Connell Show. Hello. It's me, Jonathan Wolf. I'm going to keep going with this. It's me, Jonathan Wolf, and I say subscribe to the Sarah O'Connell Show. Hang on, have I got any more things that? Oh. All right, mate. It's me, Adam Hills, with my 2 mates, and I say subscribe to the Sarah O'Connell Show.
Oh, it's lovely. I didn't know you had all those people in your room.
I always hang out with Graham Norton and Jonathan Ross and Adam Hills and Josh Widdicombe and Alex Brooker. Do you want to see this? What they give you when you go on things?
Go on then.
It's a card, and it's got this. The Graham Norton one's got a shoelace through it, and it says "For Joe." Oh, because I think it was on a goodie bag. I think you get a goodie bag at Graham Norton. With love from the Graham Norton Show. And then in the goodie bag, I think was some wine and Graham Norton wine and some other bits. And then I think there was also a goodie bag on the Jonathan Ross show. And this one says, "Dear Joe, thanks for coming back on the show. Looking forward to chatting later. Jonathan and the team." Not sure if that's Jonathan or whether it's Jonathan's team that's written that. And the last leg just sends you a double-sided thing that says, "Tell your fans you're here and we'll tell ours. Tag us on social!" exclamation mark. And then that's their socials. It's a bit more beggy, that one.
It's a bit, isn't it?
Roast Battle. And when you're on Roast Battle, you get this card and they write this extraordinary message. There you go.
Nice Roast Battle.
Thanks for the kind words, Roast Battle.
They're lovely. See, when people come on my show, when I do these in person, you get a fridge magnet.
See, that's great. That's really good.
Because then you think of me when you're going to get something out of the fridge or you put it on your toaster.
Constantly, yeah. And I go to the fridge at least 6 times a day, I'd say.
Yeah.
Please, could you have the people send one to me? That would be great. Well, here's another one.
Oh.
When you go on Bake Off, they give you a printout of the people you're on Bake Off with. But not Noel and Sandy it was Noel and Sandy when I did it. They weren't in the picture. because they'd left in executive cars. Home in an executive car. I'm not saying that they were in special cars. I also had a special car because I'm an executive.
You are? Got a swivel chair and everything.
Certainly do, yeah.
The only one from that photo I've had on my show as well is Lee Mack, who I keep bumping into.
He's a really nice, very funny man, isn't he?
He's lovely.
I wouldn't have any of the others on there because they're all fascists. Mel Sykes is a total fascist. Look at her. She's going, oh, lock 'em up. That's what she's saying.
Allegedly.
No, allegedly. I look forward to the long legal letter from Mel Sykes.
It's going to be a problem.
I'm annoyed with her because she won, and I think I should have won. But
you should have.
It was years ago, and I'm still annoyed about it. Lock them up! Lock them up! Oh, lock them up! See ya.
Take care. Bye.
Bye bye. Keep fighting the good fight. I'll see you soon.
Take care. Have an amazing Christmas and New Year. Welcome back anytime.
Bye.